Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Mind, Money, Soul. And I'm really excited about this episode. I think it's gold, if I say so myself. Now I want to talk to you about the difference between having a rich mindset and having a wealthy mindset, and why there's such a big difference and why it's so important to have a wealth mindset. Now, before we actually get started, I just want to remind you that I have brought back the Feel Good Investor course. Woohoo! I decided to bring it back live again for a fifth time. I had loads of you messaging me asking about it, well, about 7 of you, and I appreciate all 7 of you. And I was going to do it all DIY and self-paced, but people want the live part, and I love teaching it live, so this is a win. So the live classes are the 16th, 17th and the 18th of September, and there'll be a bonus Q&A as well. And at the moment, the course full price is £199, bargain, but if you sign up before the 8th of September, you get £20 off. Lovely. And then you can use that extra £20 to invest, because you would have just learned how. And every little helps. But the whole point of the course is to help you actually build wealth confidently. If you're fed up of reading stuff and seeing stuff that's like, just get started, and you're like, I don't know how. Or maybe you've learned enough, or some, but you're like, I still don't know how. I have taken all of the knowledge that I've had, and all the knowledge that I wish I had, and all the knowledge that I've learned since starting, and I've wrapped it up into this course, everything that you need to know to get started, and all the fucking frilly stupid stuff that just confuses us and overwhelms us. And it's in this course, so I'm very excited to share it with you all for a 5th time. Now let's get into the episode. Question: what does wealth mean to you? I've asked this question before, and I'll continue to ask it, but really genuinely. Now, if your answer is freedom, what does freedom mean to you? What does freedom actually look like? Sometimes we just chuck out these phrases and these words that we think we know what they mean for us, but they don't, and they're fluffy and they're intangible and they don't help. Now, when I think about this, my version of wealth in the short term, let me add, in the short term is being able to travel with my business, being able to still grow my investments, being able to have a home here in London and be able to afford bills while still going out and seeing the world and doing the things. My long-term idea of wealth is obviously, working less, I ain't gonna lie, traveling with a family perhaps, but being able to look after my health, to be able to do all the health and wellness things that I want, to be able to go where I want and choose how I spend my time, because I'm a business owner, so therefore I can take days off if I need to. Being able to go to places and have a level of luxury that I didn't have as a teenager or a child. Like those things are important to me. And obviously financial stability. What does wealth mean to you? It's really important to think about this. How is your money working for you? Right? Am I right? Now, when you're wanting to be rich, a lot of the focus is on the money, the materialistic things, the numbers. But when you focus on wealth, you can focus on your health, your time, your freedom, your ability to choose. And that, my friends, is the difference. And I listened to a podcast on this recently that was just, so good. But it basically said, a rich mindset is this attitude: I spend a portion of my money on nice luxurious things, nice bags and shoes and handbags. I bought it, I proved that I can afford it, and I can have anything I want. It's this idea of focusing on what can I spend on. A wealth mindset is, how do I use my money to create more time and more freedom for myself? I do spend my money on things that bring me joy, regardless of the price tag, but I also really focus on health and wealth and time and freedom. That's the difference, right? If you are focusing, and if you're listening to this and you're like, damn, I got a rich mindset, I don't got a wealthy mindset. If you are thinking rich and wanting to be rich over wanting to think and be wealthy, we got to switch it up. And I'll tell you for why. Numbers and materialistic stuff fades. It's okay to want it, but if that's all you want and that's all your goal is, I promise you it's not going to be fulfilling. Okay? Money can't buy you friendships. Money can't buy you love. Money can't buy you, a loving family. Money can't buy you experiences. Money can't buy you health. It can absolutely help your health, of course. So yeah, I guess it can buy you health, but you know what I mean? Your health is important to you, and having that, like spending your money on things, items, that shit does not last. It doesn't satiate, okay? The habits, the rituals, and the mindset that you have is what creates and builds your wealth. So, example, if you have £10,000 given to you as a bonus today, are you A, going to go and spend it on something big and expensive that's been on your wish list for ages? Maybe you want to get one of those, I was going to say one of those red light therapy masks, but they are not £10,000. They're like 200. But you get my point. Or are you thinking about the future and you're thinking, okay, I can spend some of this now, get some enjoyment out of it, but the rest I'm going to put towards my bigger goals. So for example, you might spend 3,000, but the other 7,000 is going to go into your stocks and shares ISA, and that's going to take you closer to your goal of retiring early, or your goal of buying a house, or your goal of setting up a business. Wealth is there to focus on your lifestyle and your future self and the way that you use money to create a dream lifestyle, but it also acknowledges your joy and your freedom in the moment from the little things as well, from just being present. You don't need all the big shiny fancy stuff now to be happy. You can be happy now along this journey, but if you want the big shiny healthy, big shiny stuff, expensive stuff, you can still have that, but is your money working for you behind the scenes? That's the difference. We see rich people bowling around with Balenciagas and designer bags and big, fancy cars, but how many of them are actually financially stable? How many of them, if their income stopped today, could continue to sustain the rest of their life, and they go, wow, I worked hard and I was in the public eye or whatever, but I put my money to work, so now I don't even need to work. That's the dream. That's the dream, honeys. And it's possible for all of us. You're using your money to grow your money. That's a wealthy mindset right there. Let me tell you. Now, you can apply this concept to your business, right? You get a big payment from a client. Are you either just going to pay yourself more as a director, or are you going to invest that money into hiring team and equipment and a studio space, or a social media manager or a VA? Like, what is it you are investing in your business that helps you make more money? Because when you make more money, you can then use a portion of that to pay yourself more, but then also sustain the business and grow it and continue to be self-sufficient with it. That's the difference. Let's think about applying it to your life. How are you investing in yourself? When you get money, how are you investing it? Are you buying it on courses? Are you buying it on books, spending it on books? Like, are you spending it on things that's going to teach you a skill for the future that you can monetize? It's important to enjoy your money, yes, but it's also important to understand the value of investing. And investing is valuable because that's why they use the phrase return on investment. You're making a return. It makes it valuable. So learning how to do these things and learning how to grow your money is a skill in itself and an investment that pays dividends both literally and emotionally for years. Now, people at the top, people who are successful and wealthy and all of those things, they focus on investing in themselves, in their lives, in their business, and in their money so that they can 10x it. They make that money grow. It's the dream. And a wealthy mindset is what's going to differentiate you from the old version of yourself. Really ask yourself, like, do I have a wealth mindset right now? Do I have that wealthy mindset attitude? And if you don't fret, because you can learn it, you can build it, you can strengthen it. That's what's so great about this. Now, I talk about this in episode 104, but I talk about this concept of building your dream life and really understanding, like, how much does it cost? How much does your dream life cost? And we can link this to my concept of my big happy goal. Now, my big happy goal for the short term is to be able to travel like 3 months of the year, be it in one big chunk or be it a week away, every however long. I don't know how many that would work out to be. 2 weeks away every month. Like whatever it is. No, it would be a week, a month, because it's a quarter. Yeah, there we go. We've done, that's quick maths. But that's my idea of wealth. Whilst still having investments growing and having savings for an emergency to do all the things that I want to be able to do. So you work out what your big happy goal is. What's the ideal? Then you work backwards and you say, how much is that going to cost me? What do I actually need for that? Let's put this into tangible numbers so I have something to work towards. And then that will help you create the course of how to act on a day-to-day basis, what your habits are. That is the process. And in this podcast, she talks about the same thing. So instead of a big happy goal, she just talks about your dream life. How much is your dream life? How much does it cost? How much are all the bigger and the little things that you want? You're either going to look at this number and it's going to make you feel very uncomfortable. Right? And you'll be like, oh my God, my dream life is going to cost me 15 grand a year. Okay, how can you make that 15 grand a year? How do you make enough cash to put it into assets? And that is where we swap from a rich to a wealthy mindset, because we're focusing on assets. Using money to buy assets so those assets can give you back money. That is what you want to focus on. That is having a wealthy mindset. And that is how wealthy people think now. So if your ideal life is going to cost you 10 grand a year, right? 120 grand no, if your dream life is going to cost you 10 grand a month, so about 120 grand a year, and that's everything all in, how are you going to get that money, right? You can either focus on finding a way to get a job that's going to pay you 10 grand a month, or you focus on getting a job that, or building a business that pays you enough money that you can invest, and then further down the line, you have enough money to withdraw that 10 grand a month. That's why you're thinking about assets. So how investing works, right? You swap your time for your money, you get cash, you put that cash into assets like property, stocks, funds, bonds, businesses, and then over time you let that money grow and you withdraw from that money. You're putting your valuable time to work and you're turning it into an asset. And basically, financial independence is when you have enough money in investments to live off of without having to work. That is true financial independence. That's why it's called the FIRE movement, financial independent, retire early, so that you can literally not have to work. Now, that might be your idea of hell, investing so much that you can retire at 30 and then that might be your idea of hell. Everybody's different. For me, you have to be a little bit too frugal. That's not for me. But I would like to retire around the age of like 40 or 50. That'd be nice. My ideal age that in my head I've actually set it to is 50. That's what I'm working towards. So 20 years to build my wealth and get myself into a position where I have that money ready to retire. But living off of my assets, it's a shift. It's a shift in your mindset from how you've always thought about it to how you're going to think about it now. It's time to have a wealthy mindset. Now, don't forget, the Feel Good Investor course doors are open. If you sign up before the 8th of September, you get £20 off as an early bird discount. The link is in the show notes. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will speak to you all next week. Mwah.